I wanted to have a brief second segment to this show to discuss polling. I've written about it many times, talked about it many times. Polling often is in the ballpark, but of course, the devil is in the details. How are they weighted? What is the sample size? Who's being polled where? But in general, they can show a sentiment. But here, I want to mention something because net neutrality, I'm trying to warn, is an issue we need to be talking about versus other issues, of course. We must also be talking about the economy being the most obvious and the pulling of the leftist James Carville, it's the economy, stupid rhetoric back into the fore that they used as a cudgel in the past successfully. Use what works. Use it back against the left and pointing out all the lies they keep telling about Bidenomics and the real inflation rate and people like me on Social Security getting this small bump in our Social Security checks, nowhere close to dealing with the actual cost of living adjustment that should be due to real inflation because they factor out the key items, the main things, the food and fuel that driving the entire overall inflation. But my point here is to move away from polls to something that is more telling. Correct? How many times do we talk about shall be known by your fruits, actions, deeds over rhetoric? Well, it has been reported now in swing battleground state of Pennsylvania, voter registration from 2023, Democrats to Republican, 35,000-ish. Republican to Democrat, 15,000-ish. Rhinos finally being honest. And to you, I say FTFU, GTFO, since this is a family show, keeping it clean, using the acronym there, right? Republican to Democrat, 15K. Rhinos, about time you be honest, join officially the Democrat ranks where you belong anyway. But the important point here is the overall swing to GOP favor of 19,000-ish, actually 19,967. So basically 20,000. Now, that is real, tangible data of movements, not potential loaded poll question answers or even potential deception of by responders to polling firms to skew the data. These are people who change their party affiliation. Now, of course, the question then is whether this is also happening as a trend and shift in thinking in other battleground states or not. Now, a deep blue state, great, we want to see these things happen, but it isn't really going to affect a POTUS electoral college outcome in the end. So red states, great. Yeah, we want red states to become more red, not watered down purplish from all the Californian and New York libtards moving out into red states and probably being too stupid to understand you can't vote Democrat in your new state or you'll turn it into California or New York that you just fled. Moron, wake up. WTF. Again, family friendly show, right? So is this a trend in battleground states where it will matter in some swing districts for the House of Representatives, some swing states for U.S. Senate and POTUS electoral college benefits toward the GOP, and more so, of course, this election cycle, the obvious towards MAGA and Trump. So that isn't huge numbers. I'm reading from a note here now, but still encouraging. But the biggest and real question is among those independents, as I call them, that continue to still refuse to take a real side with those of us defending the Republic. That's the root of where the term Republican came from. The left fascocrats trying to destroy the Republic, those of us on the right trying to preserve and save the Republic, or as at Savage Army, savagearmy.com gear, you can find my roar, not Katy Perry fanboy, roar video gear. Restore our American Republic. Some of these people in Pennsylvania and hopefully elsewhere are finally getting it. They are on board with ROAR, restore our American Republic, if not MAGA fully. Those independents is the real question. Are they finally going to take a side and join those of us trying to restore our American Republic, or continue to pretend, oh, they're above it all? They're neither Democrat or Republican, left or right. No, if you're not Republican, you're aiding and abetting fascocrats and the destruction of America and Western culture as a whole. You're not above it. You're not beyond it. You're useful idiots to the left. So I just wanted to take a minute to share that, even though this episode rather, isn't about polling. It is about the issues and net neutrality not being forgot about as an issue, because it hasn't gone away. It will be yet another federal government overreach takeover of private sector, another federal government boondoggle. And to tie this back to woke tax last episode, yet another excuse from the left to say, we need to raise taxes, to make the net neutral, to make it fair for everybody, when it's about controlling speech, not assuring free speech. Thank you for tuning in. I felt it important to add this additional caveat in this episode. See you all next week.